This is an examination of the hidden human condition.
This is the Hidden Killers Podcast.
The Hidden Killers Podcast.
With Tony Brueski.
Kate Wallinga, forensic psychologist, is with us. Kate, just the other day, Steve Gonzalez, he's the father of one of the victims of the Idaho murders of alleged murderer Bryan Kohbeger, stating that he believes Kohberger killed out of jealousy for the lifestyle that his daughter and her friends were leading. They were having social fun, things that people normally do in college who are somewhat socially active, having parties, having friends, being attractive to one another, and just living their life in a positive way that young people tend to do. Kohberger seemed to have a lot of difficulty in that through most of his life, from what we know, relating or even, sitting down and having dinner with someone without being extremely creepy and bizarre because of the way of his thinking. I think it's understandable that if you can't quite grasp how to interact with other people, it's going to make you frustrated. It could very easily make you jealous of other people. So probably a fairly accurate statement.
For sure. And so jealousy implies I want what they have.
Yeah.
Rage implies I want to destroy what they have.
Don't some people sometimes, though, want to destroy what others have if they can't have it for themselves?
That's what I'm saying, but that's not jealousy.
Sure. Okay, yeah, that is rage. Yeah. But has it started jealousy, though? Or can jealousy kind of reach a level where it translates and turns to rage because of all of the simmering up to that point?
I think it depends on the person, but my understanding of the concept of jealousy is that you have to have empathy first. You have to look at another person and imagine how they feel and want it for yourself. And if you are fundamentally, if your empathy is broken, then jealousy isn't even a concept in your world. You just want to knock down their block tower.
Okay.
You don't want to take it for yourself or play with them. You're just, you're frustrated because you see they make this block tower and you can't do it, so I'm going to break it.
Sure.
You see what I mean? Like, it's a different thought process, and it's more destructive than the average person, luckily.
Yeah. And the average person won't understand if someone's having that thought process unless they too are like that. What's your take on Kohberger having attended a Margaret Atwood book reading not that long ago, A Handmaid's Tale? It's a book about a dystopian world where women's rights have been severely curtailed. It just seemed odd seeing him sitting there in the front row amongst many other women who had read the book. And he's up there front row looking like he's ready to get it signed. I mean, it does play more into the motive or into the mindset that we understand of him having issues with women. And obviously, this is a book that's all about a dystopian world where they're being held back.
I mean, this is the thing about, like, we collectively as human beings and as fairly rational and within, the normal curve, we're in the middle, right? Like, we're more or less normal people. Like, I don't know about you, but I like to not kill people.
Sure.
So it reaches a point where every blink, every shift, every change of clothing, every photo that you see of them, every book signing, he may have had to do that for a class or something.
Sure.
All kinds of, like, there's just, we don't know, and we start to ascribe meaning to things that we can't know unless we ask. And A, we can't ask because he's in jail, and B, we can't ask because there's this gag order. And so, pick anything. How many times a day did he go to the bathroom? What did he like to eat for breakfast? Like, all of those sorts of things.
Well, we know it's frosted mini wheats. What does that tell us about his motive?
I'm saying it depends on whether he puts the frosted side down or the frosted side up. Do you know what I mean? Like, people go nuts trying to, like, I would argue, especially women, but people in general, they want desperately to be able to identify, here's the thing that makes this dude scary, dangerous, different, identifiable. Because if we can do that, then we feel a little bit safer. Because then the next time we're out to breakfast and we see somebody eating frosted mini wheats with the sugar side down, we can be like, oh, that's the dude, watch that guy.
That's it. Is it because we're always naturally looking for patterns, and we've seen some with him thus far, so now we try to continue to pull that narrative along with every piece that we learn about?
Well, there aren't patterns, I don't believe. I believe that every mass murderer, or every serial killer, every individual murderer has a unique story. We don't know, like I've said it before, we don't know anything about serial killers. We don't. We know about the failures. And we made up, like the McDonald triad, we made up about all serial killers, light fires, hurt animals, and wet the bed. Sure. That's just because that was more common than not among people who got caught. Sure. That's such a different scenario than people who are still out there active, people who are thinking about it and don't act on it, people who are fascinated by it. Like, there's so many different scenarios. And so looking for patterns makes us comfortable. There is a comfort there to feel like, then I'll know. Because all of us have to leave the house. All of us have to, if we have children, you have to send your kids out to the world. You maybe have a partner that you want to be able to like sleep next to at night instead of side-eyeing them the whole time, and so we want patterns. We desperately want to be able to say, here's the thing. I found it here. It's frosted mini wheats. I found it. And that would be, like, psychologically speaking, so much better for all of us. And it'd make the criminal justice system move a lot faster.
Yeah, without a doubt.
And that kind of thing. But the reality is, so, like, if I can switch topics for a minute. Yeah. Looking at the Madeleine Kingsbury case. Yeah. There's a lot being made of the fact that her boyfriend talked repeatedly, Adam Fravel?
Yeah, Fravel. Yep.
That he talked a lot about being fascinated with the Gabby Petito case.
Yeah.
Okay, look, all of us were.
Sure.
Do you know what I'm saying? And so that is one piece of information about this guy, but that doesn't by itself hold any weight at all. Like, I was too, and I didn't kill anybody. So it's just one of those, we want desperately to be able to say, oh, look, see? And there's nothing to point to.
Yeah, and that's the hard thing, I think, to stomach at the end of the day, and that's what keeps driving people to dig and dig and dig, even though they never quite find the answer.
You're consuming the Hidden Killers podcast.
Want more? Start binging on all of our true crime podcasts right now through Apple Podcasts, and get an ad-free experience when you sign up to be a True Crime Today Premium Plus member, exclusively on Apple Podcasts.
More of the Hidden Killers podcast, dropping soon.
Press subscribe now.